Welcome back to the program. So first and foremost, wanted to give you an update real quick. It is 220 Republicans right now to 213 Democrats. There are 2 seats still left undecided. They are both, sadly, in California. I know that I was sticking with 222 to 213, but with 2 seats left, it looks like I'm going to be at least 1 seat off. And it is possible. It's very close in one where the Republican is winning by like 58 votes. Michelle Steele, her name is. And the other person is like 38 or 40 something, votes behind. So it's really close. And I think there's like 94, 95% reporting. So there's still 5% reporting. Who knows what kind of shenanigans they could come up with. Look, I would say at this point, if they steal the last 2 seats, you're looking at a 5-seat 220 to 215. But I'm going to hold out for 221 to 214. That's what I'm holding out for. I think that's probably where it's going to end up. Hopefully I'm right. I don't know. Hopefully I'm right. The McCormick seat, don't worry about that. I don't care what they're recounting and all that. Everyone's called the race. And by the way, the numbers of ballots that they're counting out there are coming mostly from red counties. So at least at this point, unless, a miraculous stork comes by and just drops, 50,000 ballots in the middle of nowhere, I don't know. I don't think it's going to work, okay? I really don't. I think the Trump team is on it. They've got their lawyers in there. They've been doing whatever they can. So you're looking at 53 plus Vance. You have 54 seats in the Senate. What does that mean? Well, it means we can afford to lose 3. You can pretty much kiss goodbye Collins in Maine, Murkowski in Alaska, and then one other one. My guess would be the newest, believe it or not. We replaced Romney with Romney 2.0 with this idiot John Curtis in Utah. So I don't know. I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt. I remember when he was a member of Congress, he was a disaster. So I'm assuming that's going to be 3 right there. So like I said, recess appointments, all these people are going to serve 7 months or more, maybe 7 months, and that's it. Who knows? It doesn't matter. 7 months with Matt Gaetz at the Department of Justice is more than enough time to drain the swamp. So we'll see what happens on that. So I wanted to just cover that. Now, the other thing is that I have been trying for many, many years to try to get my 2 YouTube channels back. It's been over 4 years, and every single time I try to do an appeal, they always tell me no. So I can't get back on YouTube. I wanted to try, but I can't. I wanted to get back on with my numbers from the past. So in other words, I would start out with 100,000 plus on both channels, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So if we'd like to get one back on YouTube, perhaps many of you out there, if you would like, start YouTube channels and start putting my videos up on YouTube, on your channels. Grow your channels with my content. And that's one way that we can stick it to YouTube for doing what they're doing. I am going to be moving forward in the new year with other social media at that point. I'm going to give it a shot again. I've been banned for so many years now, and it sucks, but I am hearing some really good things out of the FCC. We're going to go over here in just a second, and I think that they are going to be threatening all these social media platforms. Don't you dare censor people ever again. So that means that eventually, hopefully, I'll still keep the website, but you'll be able to find me on many, many more platforms. At least that's what I'm hoping for, because, look, I can't grow my brand, I can't grow my audience to a certain point because of the censorship. And so I've been in the wilderness, basically, thank God for all of you, for the last 4 years. You're the ones that, keep me afloat, keep the mortgage paid, barely, because the website doesn't make very much money either. And the last thing I would want to do would be to have everyone leave the website because they can go get content elsewhere. But I know that many of you support me for supporting me personally rather than, just knowing that there are other avenues out there. So I definitely do appreciate that. But let's talk about what I was just going to kind of bring up here real quick. Pretty unreal. So the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, and the commissioner, the head commissioner, has sent a letter to every single one of the real big tech giants on their improper role in the unprecedented surge of censorship. Brandan Carr, who's, by the way, a Trump appointee and a good guy, Brandan Carr, the commissioner of the Federal Communications Commission, sent a letter to the CEOs of Facebook, Google, Apple, and Microsoft, and wanted to know, why are they continuing to censor people? They want to know their central roles that these companies have played in the censorship cartel, as he's calling it. The 4-page letter calls out the tech giants Facebook, Apple, Google, and Microsoft for participating in what he described as improper conduct. Carr wrote, quote, "Big tech companies silenced Americans for doing nothing more than exercising their First Amendment to freedom of speech." Carr accused the tech giants of, quote, "working in concert with so-called media monitors and others to defund, demonetize, and otherwise devalue the business and the news outlets and organizations that dared to deviate from an, quote, approved narrative." Carr also pointed out how these tech giants were, quote, participating in a censorship cartel that included not only technology and social media companies, but advertising, marketing, and so-called fact-checking organizations, as well as the Biden-Harris administration itself. That is a good sign when the head of the FCC even understands that the advertisers are also part of it, and more importantly, the fake fact-checking organizations. Brandan Carr, from the head of the FCC, understands what we know, that all these fact-checking organizations are nothing but bullshit. They're all liars, every single one of them. I have exposed them ad nauseum, okay? And all you have to do is look at anything that they say is not true, or they say that, this person is saying that this is false. Read it, scroll through it, and at some point at the very bottom, usually in the last paragraph, they always give you the truth every single time. Why? They have to, because if they didn't, they'd be sued. So that's a really good sign to know that the FCC commissioner is on our side. Carr goes on. The relative conduct extended from removing or blocking social media posts to labeling whole websites or apps as, quote, untrustworthy or, quote, high risk in an apparent effort to suppress their information and viewpoints, including those efforts to delist them, lower their rankings, or harm them and their profitability. Carr then goes on to continue, this censorship cartel is an affront to American constitutional freedoms and must be completely dismantled, end quote. Commissioner Carr then describes the damage that these organizations have done, like NewsGuard, that targets conservative and independent media on society. And then there's pictures of the letters, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. And then it says, NewsGuard claims to be a, quote, nonpartisan fact-checking organization, but a quick glance at its operations and related social media accounts shows that the group is an unhinged group of leftist committed Trump haters. NewsGuard is a, quote, media fact-checking company that was started in 2018. They claim to rate websites for their reliability. Basically, they're in the business of deciding who is fake news and who is not, and they hate, absolutely detest, pro-Trump publishers and citizen journalists like myself, and they also hate anyone that speaks the truth. The company is supported by Trump haters, elites, and media giants, and earlier this year discovered the U.S. government was also financially supporting the far-left blacklisting group. There is ample proof the activists behind NewsGuard are unhinged leftists and anti-Trumpers. Friends of the conservative website 100% Fed Up previously shared information with the Gateway Pundit that exposes NewsGuard's liberal activists. So this is wonderful to know. And that's another reason why I've been trying to get back on some of these platforms, because it seems to me that Brandan Carr, who's been there actually for a while, he's been the commissioner for a while. I think Trump appointed him a couple years ago. And he's just been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting until a friendly, pro First Amendment administration was going to come in. And now it's like, he's taking everything and going, look, this is where we're at. We've got a new administration, no more censorship. They understand the censorship is there. This is wonderful, because what they're going to do is they're going to rewrite the rules of the FCC, and they're going to hold these companies accountable if they continue to do it. So I hope they go back to the past and, compensate people like myself that have been censored for well over 4 years, but not just me, many others as well. Every single time we're deplatformed, we're shadow banned, we're, delisted, whatever it may be. I mean, it's ridiculous. This is America. This is not supposed to be like this. It is not supposed to be that an American independent conservative journalist like myself has 15 levels of security on his website. And in order for him to speak freely in the United States of America, home of the free, right? I have to rely on 24/7, 365 security in another country. Let that sink in. In order for Bernstein to speak freely daily, it costs me thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars that I have to give to a full-on 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365 security team that watches everything in another country, because I can't afford the security in the United States of America, quite frankly. It's that expensive. But that's a sad reality of where we are. But where we're going is going to be much better. So I wanted to kind of point that out. Now, the other thing, and this is truly disturbing. Look, President Trump must pick Dan Bongino as the head of the Secret Service. Let me repeat that. He must choose Dan Bongino, nobody else, only Dan Bongino, to be the head of the Secret Service. Why? Well, I think we already saw why in Butler, Pennsylvania. I think we also saw why at Mar-a-Lago with that crazy bastard Ralph, or whatever his name is. But you know what? There's Iranian teams still trying to take out President Trump because of Soleimani. And I'm telling you right now, Dan Bongino needs to clean house. He needs to be nominated for that position, and he needs to take over the entire Secret Service. And here's another reason why. Radical Trump hater who supports communists and Antifa has been unmasked as a Secret Service agent, and the agency is now, quote, launching an investigation. Another shocking allegation involving the Secret Service could potentially endanger President Trump's life further following 2 assassination attempts. Counter-extremism researchers within the Justice Department has a mind-blowing report saying that they have discovered that a lifelong anarchist, left-wing extremist, and devout follower of Antifa is working as a Secret Service agent right now. Moreover, this individual reportedly has made a series of disgusting comments regarding President Trump. The supposed agent has a series of ugly posts under the since-deleted account. What are those lines? Like a backslash, I guess, but the slash is this direction. The letter U, the slash again, and then ENDON 40. ENDON and the number 40 on the leftist social media forum of Reddit, where he calls the American electorate chodes and Nazis who voted for a man with a, quote, Nazi policy. This is the Secret Service for you under Biden and Harris. Quote, these chodes and cowards and Nazis won't win. No matter how long it takes to pry them from power, if they manage to cheat their way back to it, the Antifa sympathizer writes, the survival rate of fascist dictatorships trends towards zero. They voted for a man who has a Nazi policy and surrounds himself with people who are also Nazis, including neo-Nazis, he added. When you're willing to, quote, vote for President Trump, who is a Nazi, and support this guy whose policies mirror the Third Reich, and again, had actual neo-Nazis around him, then you're a Nazi asshole, end quote. So this is why Dan Bongino absolutely must take over the Secret Service. So reach out to Trump, reach out to his affiliates, reach out to people around him, reach out to Dan Bongino, whoever. We have got to make sure that Bongino takes over the Secret Service, because he will find these idiots. He will get rid of these idiots. He will jail these idiots if they're doing threats and things like that. But the worst part is that we now know that there are people like that in the Secret Service right now. Right now. And who knows, because they're not releasing the name. Maybe they were there in Butler. Maybe, God forbid, one of them's going to be somewhere and is going to do something and try to turn on him. This is serious. This is serious. President Trump ought to have his own security team. I would reach out to Eric Prince and I would tell Eric, hey man, I need a cavalry of good dudes. People that you trust. Vet them hard and put them around until the Secret Service can be absolutely destroyed and rebuilt. Cleared out 100%, okay? There's even been talk that the picture of him with his fist up in the air, fight, 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 the guy in the sunglasses, whoever that guy is, they're even thinking of possibly having him, whoever he is, as the head of the Secret Service. I don't know who the guy is. I don't know his name or anything. Anyone associated with Butler, anyone associated right now with the past regime and their Secret Service needs to be out 100% because they cannot be trusted. So please, if you can, reach out to Trump, reach out to people close to him, whatever you can on social media. Let them know you've got a mole, and you probably have even more than one mole. They're just finding one. There's probably 5 or 10 or 15 of them. Who knows how many? Maybe they're working with the Iranian assassins that are running around the country for all we know. I'm not trying to scare the living daylights out of people, but I am in a way, because I want people to understand how dangerous, this is right now. And quite frankly, what risk factor President Trump is currently under. This is pretty crazy stuff. So if they found one, believe me, there's more. Okay? Believe me, there's more. So let's hope that nothing happens. Pray for President Trump's safety of him, his family, and everyone around him, his cabinet members, his choices, everyone, because they are gunning, and I don't use that word as a pun, but they are gunning for him. President Trump has nominated Liberty Energy CEO Chris Wright for Secretary of Energy and a member of the newly formed Council of National Energy. So not only do you got Burgum, who's got energy experience as the Secretary of the Interior, you've got this guy from an energy company, experience, right? Tons of experience here. And now there's going to be a newly formed Council of National Energy. You want to know something, folks? Gas prices are going to go, they're going to plummet. And these people are going to rip out that Green New Deal and all the regulations, all the EPA bullshit. They're going to open up ANWR. They're going to continue the Keystone Pipeline. I'm telling you, once the energy prices and the energy comes back, prices are going to drop like a rock. I'm telling you, they will. So, wanted to kind of point that out. And then the last thing was this Dr. J. Bhattacharya. Okay, now this is a awesome patriot. This is somebody that has been banned, has been censored, has been attacked, many times And he's even gone after the National Institute of Health. He's gone after Fauci. He's gone after Big Pharma. And now he's the top candidate. He hasn't been chosen yet, but the top candidate to lead the National Institute of Health. This is awesome. One thing I want you folks to understand is that this cabinet that is forming in front of us, in front of our very eyes, these are all our people. These are all America first, for the most part. They are all our people. They are all MAGA. And I think it's going to be a lot different than the 2016 election when he didn't even know he was going to win, and then he won, and all of a sudden he's never been a president before. He's never been in executive, positions. I mean, obviously he's run companies and he's a businessman, and that's how come he did so well. But he's never been in politics. He didn't know who to trust, who not to trust, who was going to backstab him, who was not going to backstab him. This time, it's all different. It's all different. And you can tell it's different based on the choices that he's making. He is putting in loyalists that are going to prop up his agenda to make America great again. And let me tell you, this is so, so great. So, keep praying, keep fighting, and keep watching as we are remaking America into Trump's America, where there'll be freedom and liberty and prosperity and safety and money and freedom. And that's all we've ever wanted. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Put them down in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.